Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about whether or not we should be worried about President Biden's estate tax proposals. Before I get to that, I want to remind you, if you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning or probate, and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to cmslawfirm.com. Okay, so I get this question at least once a day. I saw an article about it today. I read it because I was curious because, well, it's my thing. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So if you did not know, there have been several sort of proposed changes to estate tax rules and really even more significantly capital gains tax rules, but in the context of estate planning and in the context of when you die. That's got everybody sort of up in arms. Okay, generally, if you are not in the know, and you probably are not, unless you are an estate tax attorney or it caught your eye in the news and now you're all freaked out. Basically, they have given up, right? At least for now, on trying to reduce the estate tax exemption amount. When Donald Trump came into office, he raised the amount from $5.5 million to about $11.7 million, which means you're not paying on any federal estate taxes until you're over $11.7 million in assets. People were worried that when Biden came into office, he was going to try to lower that. It doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. Part of the reason I think for that is that that's going to go away in 2026. That provision will sunset. It will have to be replaced by something else. So they're just not even trying to worry about that, because they don't want to fight with the Republicans about that. That's my opinion. They're trying to get this other stuff in if they can, that we're going to talk about. Instead, they are trying to close what is probably one of the most significant estate planning and estate tax benefits. Some would call it a loophole. It's not really a loophole because it's a specific rule. So it's only a loophole here's how I describe a loophole. People created something to do one thing and you use it to do another thing. That's like a loophole. This is not a loophole, okay? Right now, as it stands, when it comes to capital gains taxes and estate planning, when you die and you give your assets to someone else, they get what's called a step up in basis. Basically, any capital gains tax that would have had to have been paid on that asset does not have to be paid. It gets wiped out. You get a step up. It's called a step up because you're going up from the original tax basis, whatever the person that originally paid for it, and what the value of it is today. Normally, you would pay tax on that difference. Not right now, okay? And that's been a sort of a staple of estate planning and estate tax planning for a very, very long time. Basically, Joe Biden wants to eliminate that provision, as do some other members of Congress, okay? It started with a proposal by members of Congress. Biden just submitted, I think, something that's called like a green paper, something like that, very recently, which the president does every year, sort of outlines, these are the income tax, this is the current state of the income tax code, these are all the things that are wrong with it, these are our proposed changes. And what he's proposing to change is very, very significant when it comes to capital gains taxes. Basically, he wants to try to capture all of those capital gains taxes that have been lost. Here's the other important part that you need to know when it comes to capital gains taxes. It's not as beneficial for people, but if you gift something to someone when they are alive, right now, the tax basis just travels with the person, okay? So if I bought a house for $100,000 and now it's worth $1 million and I give it to my kids, they just get that house, but they get it with a tax basis of $100,000. So when they sell it, if they ever sell it, they would pay tax on that difference, but the tax is not owed, okay? The changes that they're trying to make to the code are twofold. Number one, there is no step up in basis when you die. So if something is bought for $100K and it's now worth $1 million and it's transferred at death, it's still taken at a tax basis of $100K, which means you're going to pay capital gains tax on that difference. The second thing is when you make a gift, now the tax basis doesn't travel with the gift anymore because the capital gains tax is owed when the gift is made. Okay? Mind blown, okay? Crazy, big changes. Okay, so if you have assets that have appreciated greatly over time, you are, rightly so, freaked out about this a little bit. Because here's the other catch. In some of the plans, although not in Biden's latest proposal, they are trying to retroactively implement this back to January 1 of this year, 2021, which means you can't even fix the problem right now, even if you wanted to, okay? So that's got people freaked out. So now that I have given you the background on what the status of the current proposals are, here is what you should do about Biden's estate planning or estate tax proposals. You ready for this? Nothing, okay? Just don't worry about it for now. Just keep, by the way, subscribe to this show. If you're watching me on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast, subscribe to the podcast. That way you don't miss any updates. I will let you know when it's time to do something. Right now, this is just an idea. We know how good, in quotation marks, the government is at getting things done. They suck, okay? So the chances of them actually doing something is pretty limited. Although the Democrats do have control, technically, of both houses right now, I believe it's like the slimmest margin ever. So the chance that they're going to actually get something done, again, is very, very, very tiny. If something does happen, and if it is applicable to 2022, which is more likely than it being retroactively put into place, then you're going to have to do a mad dash and do some scrambling towards the end of the year if you fall into a category of someone that can take advantage of the current law and is going to lose a lot because of the new law. But we're not going to know until it happens because we're not going to know what the new law is. And so for now, just sit tight. What I can tell you and what I can promise you is over the course of time, I'm going to come up with some solutions. I will talk about them here on the podcast. That way you can have them ready if you need them. But for now, don't do anything. Don't freak out. Don't worry about it. There have been no new laws enacted. I don't even believe there's legislation been presented like in Congress. It's just ideas at this point. So don't freak out. There's nothing to do right now. Just sit tight. Okay? As always, if you like this video or this podcast or whatever, hit the like button if you can. If you have questions or comments, leave them anywhere you want. I will answer them. If you have questions about something else, leave it. I'll put it on here as another episode. And that's it for today, okay? Except if you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning or probate, and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to cmslawfirm.com. Okay, as always, I am Christopher Small. I'm the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you again soon. See ya.